I wanted to create a buyer's guide for all the Gembared red light products that I use and recommend. If you watch this right away, you can take advantage of his Black Friday sale going on where the prices are really cheap. And then you can also stack my discount code WAKN WAKEN um, to save an additional 10% off. But I'm going to try and keep this as short as possible. I'm going to release another video I made that was 55 minutes. I tried to keep it short, but this one's just cut and dried to the point. The Gembared Vector is the panel I recommend the most. This is the 4 frequency. I call it the standard vector. It has 4 frequencies. It's got a timer. All the vectors are similar in that they have a 10-minute timer, which is great. So if you like if you use it at night, um, oftentimes you might be doing something, and it's just nice to have a off timer that turns off. I recommend using it 5 minutes per treatment per spot on 2 or 3 spots. Uh, Oftentimes, when people first get these panels, they use it for 10 minutes and they run the whole timer on one spot. That's a pretty high dose. I would go to stick to 5 minutes max, and even 3 minutes is a pretty good dose with the standard vector. It's got 4 frequencies. It's got 630, 660, 830, and 850. Wide range of things. Our mitochondria absorb all different frequencies based off their metabolic state. So this just has a wide range of effects. It covers your basis. It's the most versatile panel. I wouldn't say it does everything the best. It does everything great, but there's other tools that are better for specific things. But this can be used on the face for treating the face. A lot of people want a panel to treat the face for wrinkles and aging and acne or whatever, or anything superficial. So they get that, and then they want a panel they can use directly on the skin, and then a panel you can treat the eyes. You can just do a wide range of things with this panel, which is why I like it. And if you're only going to get one panel, this will do everything that you need it to do. I recommend treating the eyes 24 inches away with this panel first thing in the morning, and that helps regulate your metabolism, and lowers blood glucose when you eat sugar and carbs. So there's a lot of benefits to treating the eyes. It's mitochondrial dense. And also just treating anywhere on the body for 5 minutes in the morning. If you want to simplify red light as much as possible, that's all you got to do. I would treat the eyes first thing in the morning. You get the facial treatment too, and then treat one spot on the body for 5 minutes as well. And that'll give you systemic whole body effects, and help with a lot of things. So if you just want to start with one panel, that's what I would do. The Gembared Vector with 4 frequencies, it's 45 milliwatts per centimeter, 44 milliwatts per centimeter squared, and just very versatile. Then we have the Gembared Improve. This is my second most recommended panel. This panel is similar. So there's the Rex, the Groove, and the Improve. They're all very similar. The Rex is going to be just 660 and 850 and has a majority of red. It'll be good for treating the face, and also good directly on the skin. It doesn't get fancy with a bunch of different frequencies. The Improve, which is the one I recommend just forking out a little bit more money and getting the Improve. It has a switch, has the external power supply, which lowers the EMF. The Rex and the Groove have a power supply that plug directly in, and there's drivers in it which emit a tiny amount of EMF, but it's grounded, unlike a panel that you'd get off Amazon or something that looks similar. Those won't be grounded. The intensity is a low 5 to 6 milliwatts per centimeter squared directly on the skin, which I think is awesome because then you can do really long treatments, and there's a different benefit to really long and slow doses at low intensity. It's just a different stimulus, and I use it as my whole body systemic panel. So you can use this. You can treat your stomach, chest, and back are the primary areas. You can treat anywhere with it, but those are my primary areas I treat with this panel to get whole body systemic effects for getting red light on your body for long periods of time. for long doses. There's no worry of really overdoing this or overdosing. So it's a good panel to give your mom or dad or grandparents. It's lightweight. Just know it feels like cheap plastic, but there's really nothing you would do to improve this. It's nice as the plastic because it allows it to be lightweight for people to use, like your grandma or grandpa who might struggle to put it on them. It just makes it really easy to use. I do some modifications to it. I put heat sinks in it, which make it heavier and support the back so I can put my full weight on it. I got another video um, on YouTube in my playlist if you want to look up how to do that. And that makes it heavier and allows me to put full body weight, and it makes it really solid. But this panel is my favorite panel to use at a desk while I'm just sitting and watching TV in the evening. It kind of acts like a heat pad. It warms up. It starts out cool and then it slowly warms up, kind of like a heat pack. Some people really like that, and it helps circulate the blood. It's the one panel where a little bit of warmth towards the end is probably a good thing to help circulate the blood and help circulate some of those effects. A lot of this panel is just kind of like blood irradiation in a lot of ways. You're treating directly on the skin to get better penetration, better absorption. It's kind of like a full body panel, but you can be lazier. If you get a full body red light panel, you got to sit in front of it for 10, 20 minutes. And a lot of people might buy a full body red light panel, spend a lot of money, and then they're going to just stop using it just because it's inconvenient and it's hard for them to just sit and uh, stand in front of a panel for 20 minutes. This thing, you can just slip it up your shirt and turn it on while you watch TV or read a book, or in the evening when you're trying to wind down, or in the morning when you're waking up. It's great for treating the eyes. 3 to 6 inches away, look directly at the lights. It's a low 5 milliwatts per centimeter squared, which is 20 times lower intensity than what could damage your eyes. So don't worry about that. And it's the perfect intensity for treating the eyes. 5 minutes gives you 1.5 joules per centimeter squared, which is right where we want to be for treating the eyes. Um, so 3 to 6 inches on the eyes. Yeah, this is just a really good panel. I recommend it for anyone who comes to me who's like, I've got, my mom is got dementia, or I just have gut issues, things like that, where I just think putting this on every single day on the front or the back, do 20 minutes, sometimes do 2 treatments for a total of 40 minutes. I use it throughout the day, 10 minutes on, take 2 hours off, put it back on, let it cool. And I'm just using it while working on a computer, slip it on my back. It allows, I think it offsets some of the effects of looking at a screen all day or being indoors, being able to get near infrared and red light on your skin, because how red light and near infrared work, you get global effects throughout the entire body. So there's not really any need to cover and blanket your whole body with red light therapy to get a lot of the effects. The one thing I do think full body red light is good for is boosting the lymphatic system and the lymphatic capillaries in the skin and improving skin health. But you get remote effects from red light therapies. You can treat one area of the body and it improves wound healing on the opposite side of the body. So there's just not really any need for a full body panel for most people. This is just easier to use. You can do it while laying on a couch, and you don't have to worry about over treating, because 20 minutes is 7 joules per centimeter squared, which is a pretty low and conservative dose. I think it's perfect in doing that for 20 minutes, because there's some panels you get 7 joules in 1 to 2 minutes treatments, so it's just different. It's a different stimulation, being able to do really long treatments, and it's very unique in that way. Let's go to the next panel. This is the most budget-friendly panel. It's the Gembared Proxy. It is 62 milliwatts per centimeter squared, so a little bit higher intensity. It's got convex lenses. They stick out 3 millimeters, so this is unique to Gembared. The only company selling convex lens panels, and the reasoning behind it is they push into the skin, so you get 3 millimeters of penetration, And we're fighting for penetration with red light therapy. One marketing gimmick is telling people how deep red and near infrared light penetrate into the body, but really that intensity drops so quickly that you're only getting a therapeutic intensity or dose at up to about 1 millimeter when used directly on the skin. This helps cheat in a little bit. It also is heavy on near infrared. It's got 660, and then it has split 830 and 810, which are the two deepest penetrating frequencies. So it leans towards the near infrared, which is good because really this panel is made for getting deeper penetration. The thing I like to use this for is elbow injuries, elbow pain, tennis elbow, shoulder, neck. You can do the thyroid. You can treat the eyes from 4 inches away. 4 inches gets you in that zone of around 5 to 7 milliwatts per centimeter squared, and do that for 5 minutes. You get that. I'd look at that red band of light just to get that bright stimulation early in the morning. And when you treat your eyes, do it in the morning. So that can do a whole host of things. If that's your only panel, you'll get a wide range of benefits. If all you do is treat your eyes in the morning and then treat 3 to 4 places on your body for 2 to 3 minutes. So this panel is a panel you use for 2 to 3 minutes, so you can breeze through and treat a couple areas. And then if you want to treat more, then it'll heat up, and then you got to let it cool, and then you could do it again and do a total of like 10 to 15 spots if you want to, if this is your only device and you want to cover a larger area. It's good for the sternum. The sternum is loaded with stem cells, that bone. So I like to do that to stimulate stem cells. It's really good for stimulating stem cells on the shin, on the tibia. You do it on the inside of your tibia, and you would hold that for 3 minutes, and then you might move it down and do 3 minutes again. We'll go into talking about the Spaser next because it's very similar. 3 proxies fit into a Spaser. So there is, some people might want to get 2 of these instead of 1 of these. It runs you about the same price, but 2 of them allows a little bit more versatility because then you can like push 2 on your knee, put 2 on your thigh instead of having 1 big one. But I love the Spaser 2.0, similar idea. It's 69 milliwatts per centimeter squared, slightly more intensity than this. But to give you an idea, this is almost double what the Vector is, a little bit less than double. The Vector is 44 milliwatts per centimeter squared. So 5-minute treatments. I tend to do 2-minute treatments with this, and my specific use and recommendation for this is for athletics, for stimulating the muscles, for muscle recovery, for muscle performance, for if you got to go running, if you got achy muscles. This is just a really good panel to have. It's small, but 2-minute treatments allows you to treat multiple areas, so you can cover a wide range of things in 15 minutes before it heats up. I would do my quads, my hamstrings, my calves, my shin. It's really sturdy. It's got long feet on it, which are nice because I like to use this panel. I lay it on the ground and then I lay on it, kind of like a foam roller or something, where I like put it on the ground and I'm like laying and putting my full weight on it to get really good compression against the lights to get better penetration of the light, because the convex lens is pushed into the skin, and when you push it blanches the skin, and that it pushes away tissue and it pushes away blood, and those are that's what is absorbing most of the light and keeping it from penetrating. So we can get better penetration with this type of lens and applying pressure. Otherwise, you can just press it hard onto your skin. But great panel for athletics. If you're going to do it for athletics, I like to do it first thing in the morning, and even if you have an athletic event or something in the evening or in the afternoon. Those effects peak at 4 to 6 hours, ATP production and stuff. I think it can help prevent injuries, and I say that just because I had a um, injury that kept me from going to the NFL, where I took a fluoroquinolone antibiotic. They call it being floxed. It's an antibiotic that poisons your mitochondria and causes like a whole host of issues. But a common side effect is torn rotator cuffs, torn uh, tendons, Achilles, muscle injuries. It just makes you really injury prone. And it has to do with poisoning your mitochondria. So if you can strengthen your mitochondria, you can activate those muscles better, and uh, I think it helps prevent injuries, and it's helped me get back into being able to do athletics without getting injured, without getting sore and whatnot. So it's an extremely valuable tool that I recommend for all athletes. Um, then we have the Gembared 810 Vector, and this tool is not going to be as versatile as the other Vector. I think it's a good panel to stack with if you have the Gembared Improve, so you have the red light to treat your eyes. This panel has two red lights in the bottom corner or in the corners. I black those out with tape because I like to have no visible red hitting me in the face, or like I'll use it in the evening and I don't want visible light. The 810, a lot of people, they lean towards having more frequencies is better. There's a lot of devices and medical devices on the market like Violate that only use 810. I really like um, this panel for focusing on injuries or specific things directly on the skin to get better penetration with the 810 frequencies. I like that it doesn't have the red lights if you block out the corners. Um, this panel is 34 milliwatts per centimeter squared, so lower intensity. I actually like that. It's counterintuitive to what the other companies are pushing, but 34 milliwatts per centimeter squared is in a sweet range of being able to do longer treatments. Longer treatments stimulate um, the cells and can help drive some of the more of the effects. So it's just a different tool for things. If I had a injury, I would lean towards using this for um, athletic performance and recovery. I like the Improve, and it's just I like different stimulations. It's hard to kind of explain that. It's nice to have both tools. They're both very similar, and the 810 will have good penetration. You can apply a lot of pressure to this and still get good penetration. While the Improve is higher intensity, you can do shorter treatments. You can treat a lot of different areas. Where this is like you'd only treat like 2 or 3 places per treatment. Because you're doing 5 to 6 to 7 minutes per treatment with this. You can go up to about 7 treatments or 7 minutes. 7 minutes is 14 joules per centimeter squared. That's a good dose for hitting deeper targets. More superficial things, 10 joules per centimeter squared would be good, which would be 5 minutes. So it just depends what you're trying to do. But this panel is extremely valuable, and I think it stacks well with all the rest. But it's one of those things. Um, People might get that if they have issues with something they know is deeper. You're not going to get as wide of range of benefits as having the standard vector that has red. It's not going to be as versatile, but it does some things better than the standard vector would. So there are cases where I would recommend the 810 vector, and the 810 vector I would personally use more often than the standard vector. But that's because I have other tools that have the red frequencies. It's a great device for treating the head. You would just do, 5 minutes, 4 to 5 minutes on the forehead, the side of the head, and then the back of the head. 810 is a well studied frequency for treating the head. So, great panel for treating the head. The other device is the 810 1050 vector. This is his newest vector. 1050, this is the only panel on the market that has 1050 for direct skin contact, which that's the only way I think that frequency is useful. Platinum LEDs adding 1050 to their full body red light panels, and I think it's kind of pointless. They're more expensive just because they're newer to the market, but the 810 diodes or the 1050 diodes are newer to the market and harder to get, so they're more expensive. So it makes this panel a little bit more expensive at 330 versus 250. I think it's entirely worth it. I like that he didn't include the red corners like the 810 vector. It's entirely near infrared. It has, you can see the 810 lights, but the 1050 are completely invisible because it's longer wavelengths of light. And the 1050 acts differently. It doesn't interact with cytochrome C oxidase on the mitochondria, so it doesn't interact with the mitochondria directly, but it's being absorbed by water heavily, and it's modulating ion channels, heated gated ion channels. It affects calcium channels, and it's also structuring water and changing water. So some of the effects might be mostly through water, but in studies using 810 and 1050 work synergistically together. So I think using them both together for treating the head, and there might be other effects throughout the body. So I lean towards this panel over the 810 personally when I use my panels. I really like the 810 1050, but there is the steeper price to it. uh, I have a lot of reports from people just like, with injuries and stuff, using this and, fixing it pretty quickly. 810 and 1050 are the deepest penetrating frequencies. 1050 might be deeper penetrating because it's a longer wavelength, and it's in a band of light that is, you know, deeply penetrating and doesn't get absorbed at the surface of the skin, where frequencies kind of in the 900s are not good to use. So it goes 800 to 900 are good. 810 to 10, 810 to 830 are deep penetrating, and then like 1030 to 1065. This one is 1050, right in the middle there. Really great tool. Highly recommend it. This is my go-to panel for treating my head. This is 45 milliwatts per centimeter squared, so pretty much identical to the standard vector, a little bit higher intensity than the 810 vector. You would use this for 3 to 10 minutes. 3 minutes on the head is pretty good with this panel, where the 810 vector you'd be doing more like 4 or 5 minutes on the head. Let's talk about, this is my newest tool that I got from Gembared. It is the bassinet flexible pad, and it folds into kind of a box shape to treat your head. And I added Velcro to it to really form it into a helmet that squeezes and fits my head perfectly. So I recommend, if you get this, to definitely get some Velcro and fold over the sides and have it formed to your head just perfectly, if you're not going to use it as a flexible pad to use. So it just depends what tools you have, but I like to keep it strictly as a device for my head. And what I really love about this is just how easy it is to use. I've had friends tell me like they just don't have 5 minutes to even to to use a panel, to stand in front of a red light panel. And it's like, this kind of solves that. You wake up, you put it on your head. I put a battery on it. I'll put a link down below for the battery I use. I had to buy a connector for it to fit this device, but this comes standard with a regular plug with a 20-minute timer. So use the time. Use the timer if you're just like on your couch being lazy, or if you're using it before you go to bed so you don't fall asleep with it on. It's easy to put this on and fall asleep. I like to use it in the evening. I like to use it in the morning. You could use it twice a day, maybe 10 minutes morning, 10 minutes in the evening, maybe 20 minutes in the morning, and that's it. But lower intensity device put on the head. A lot of people think you need high intensity for the head, but in studies they show lower intensity, even down to 5 milliwatts per centimeter squared, is just as effective. This is, I believe, 15 milliwatts per centimeter squared with the 810 diodes, and then 28 milliwatts per centimeter squared with the 1050 diodes. So it's 810, 1050, which are the two frequencies that I want for treating the head. And it just nicely slips on the head. And I use it with the battery for the most part, just so I put it on and I walk around my kitchen in the morning, make breakfast, do whatever. Um, People are tight on time. It's easy to just put it on, not think about it. I even put it on when I'm driving. It just looks like I'm wearing a funky winter cap, with the flaps over your ears. Nobody even knows, especially when you form it to not be a box. So you really strap down the Velcro and form it. And then it has a strap here. I also put a Velcro strap sometimes when I'm just like laying in bed and not doing anything to really form this to treat my sinuses in my face. So I can really tighten it to my face like this. It looks funky, but I think this is the best device for the head. There's no other device I know on the market that's used for the head that has 810 and 1050 and under $1,000. Violite, I think they're like $3,000. They use too high of an intensity. They're using around 100 milliwatts per centimeter squared, which I have no interest in putting that high of an intensity on my head. Um, and they're only treating the forehead and the back of the head. This blankets the whole head, which I think is important for the lymphatic capillaries to treat the skull. Um, just know you're getting global effects from treating anywhere on the skin. So just treating the head in the morning, but if you have like a neurological condition or something, I recommend doing all sorts of different things and combining different things, from treating the eyes, from using the improve on the stomach and the chest to do real low intensity long treatments, and then using a head cap like this. This is a great device to give to your grandma or your parents who are aging, who might have um, one, they just don't have the time. Like, it's hard to give them a vector. A vector is a good panel for them, but they have to be more strict on time and have to be aware of how to use it and whatnot. This is an easy device to give them. It's got the timer. It shuts off after 20 minutes, so they can't overdo it. They don't have to think about it. They just put it on their head while they're watching TV or whatever. If you give them the battery, that complicates things a bit because they got to charge the battery then, but it allows you to be more mobile. But if this thing is just great. It's the one device I can get my wife to use consistently because it she I just go put it on her head while she's doing whatever, and she wears it and doesn't think about it. It's a little bit different when you hand somebody a panel. They gotta put it on their skin, push, move it around. They gotta remember to move it after 5 minutes. Or with the Spaser, you have to be really attentive and move it around every 2 minutes while looking at a timer. You want to be real strict with this. I didn't say that, but real strict. You'll get more effects by sticking to lower doses, around 2 to 3 minutes, 3 minutes max with the Spaser. 5 minutes with the Vector, um, up to 7 minutes with the 810 vector, 4 to 5 minutes with the 810 1050 vector, 10 to 20 minutes with this device, 2 to 3 minutes with the proxy, 1.5 to 2 minutes usually with this, up to three for deeper spots. Every one of these panels can be used on the tibia to stimulate stem cells. Some tools will do it better, like these panels and the Spaser will do it better because of getting deeper penetration into that bone. But the 810 vector will, if that's all you got, it'll work great. Let's talk about the Gembared proxy or bracer. So this is a new device from him. It's a watch wearable device. I tend to mostly use this to on acupuncture points. I like to treat large intestine 4. I like to treat pericardium 6. That can help kind of relax the mind. Both of those can help kind of downregulate or wake you up in the morning as well. I also strap this to my head to do yin tang right here in the middle. And I strap that there. You can also do these acupuncture points with a flashlight, but it's just easier to strap this on. It's a perfect intensity of 20 milliwatts per centimeter squared, which means you can do higher, longer treatments, which I tend to lean towards that being better, around 20 to 30 milliwatts per centimeter squared. So it's right in the perfect range to get good penetration and do long treatments, which is especially important for doing blood irradiation. So this is the perfect device for doing blood irradiation. You strap it to your neck or you strap it to your wrist. Don't think about it. I leave these in my car actually in the center console, and I use them anytime I'm driving in the morning. I'll treat different acupuncture points. That's the main time I actually use these is in the car. It's nice for traveling. You could theoretically use these on your eyes, but it's nice if you have two. If you only treat one eye at a time, it can kind of be disorienting. Uh, you can look on his website for the exact intensities, and for the eyes, you want to stick around 5 to 10 milliwatts per centimeter squared for 3 to 5 minutes. Pretty much any panel could be used on the eyes. But if you look at Glenn Jeffrey's research on pretty much modulating the um, your metabolism to regulate blood sugars better, he thinks you could use a red light that's 10 centimeters squared, which is about that big, and just doing 5 to 10 minutes on one spot. So even if this is all you have, you'll get global systemic effects that likely could replicate some of his research of helping regulate your blood sugars from just using a small device like this. That's why I say do the eyes loaded with mitochondria. They shout to the rest of the body. You get global effects from treating the eyes, along with how important the eyes are for overall health, along with treating, if you have a vector, any of these panels used directly on the skin too. So you do the combination in the morning to get that systemic whole body effect. The other thing, while you're shopping, I would get a red light bulb. He sells the best ones. They're 660 deeper red. Most light bulbs are 630 and more orange. The other device I would get is the desk lamp. The desk lamp is super sweet. Great for using next to your bed or using at a computer. At night, I have a keyboard. I can't see it, and a lot of light causes glare on the computer. This points down at the table right over my keyboard, and it's just great. It can be used as a reading light. So super sweet. $40 right now, and with 10%, you're getting down to like $35. What's up, dude? Definitely get one of these. I think it's the best reading light and best. It's great. Have it next to your bed. Have one next to your bed. Have one at your computer, or even in your living room. You can tip it up. You can dim these. These would be great for new parents who have, for your changing station or when you're waking up and breastfeeding or changing diapers, being able to just easily tap that on and off. Just a simple, easy device is great. Something. What's up? This folds down. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. You can shine it at the wall to make kind of like a nice light fixture. So when you hold it against a wall, then it lights up the wall. All of the wall? All of the wall. All of the wall. I think that covers it all. Let me know if you have any questions. Use discount code WAKN, WAKN. Obviously, I don't know if I mentioned I'm affiliated with Gembared because they're the best red light company by far, and nothing comes close. They're the most ethical. They provide accurate intensities. They provide good customer service. Um, they make panels for direct skin contact. They're affordable. It's just a no-brainer. It's kind of sad how lacking the other red light companies are with how oversaturated the red light market is, and nobody, in my opinion, competes with Gembared. I can't really recommend anything else. If you get a full body red light panel, he's got the let's see, the reboot and the overclocked panel. Right now, he's got an overclocked panel that they screwed up the manufacturing of where they put the lights. So you can get that at a serious discount, probably under $1,000 with all the discounts when it's normally 1,500. That panel is sweet. Great full body red light panel. I would use that from 3 feet away, 2 to 3 feet. Full body red lights, I use at 15 to 30 milliwatts per centimeter squared. All the companies are pushing devices that they say are 100 plus milliwatts per centimeter squared. The idea that higher intensity is better, higher intensity than shorter treatments, and they think you get better penetration from higher intensity. It's just not true. You want to stick around 15 to 30 milliwatts per centimeter squared. Personally, I do 15. I do around 10 to 15 milliwatts per centimeter squared, so real low for about 15 to 20 minutes. And the reason to get a full body red light panel, I think the biggest effect is improving the lymphatic system and how it can have global effects for improving, circulation, for improving the lymphatic drainage, improving the lymphatic capillaries, which improves the function of your stem cells. So there is some effect, or a good effect from getting full body red light. It can help negate, when you're in the winter and you can't get outside a lot and get a lot of sun. It's a good thing to have. Most red light I use in the morning. The majority of my red light is, and then I do uh, some things in the evening, like sometimes I'll do the stem cell activation, the tibia or the sternum, or treat my head. Let's see. The reboot is the other panel. The reboot is a sweet full body red light panel. You'll get that for about $800 with all the discounts going on Black Friday. That's the full body red light panel I've had for the longest time. And that is, you'd use it from about 2 feet away, 2 to 2.5, 3 feet to get into that 15 milliwatt per centimeter range. So you don't need a really large panel if you're standing further away because that light really spreads out. Definitely stick to the distance. Higher intensity is not better. You don't want to feel the heat. That's one mistake I made early on with using red light therapy, was thinking I need to be closer to get more effects, and I wasn't getting the effects if I was standing too far away and the intensity was low. That's just not true. All the studies are done using under 30 milliwatts per centimeter squared. And I would bet money that you get better effects from using lower intensity for longer periods of time. Let's see. That's it. We'll call on that.